My name is XPYM and welcome to Reflexx. Today's video is a recording of our first beginners coaching session. If you would like to participate, join our Discord. We'll be going in depth on all game mechanics and improve our skills in group practice sessions. Like and subscribe for more educational Valorant content.
Alright, so we will start with just going through all of the agents and their core mechanics, their abilities, and maybe some things that you might not necessarily know. So I wanted to start with duelists, especially because you, Kali, play Phoenix, and I think that'd be pretty useful for you. So Phoenix is one of the purest entry fraggers out there in the game. He has his wall ability. I'm sure you know this, but you can curve it to create pretty nice setups. It's very strong, very powerful. It costs 200 credits, so it's pretty expensive. It is a good utility use. We have curveball, which takes half a second to pop, and it flashes you for 0.05 seconds if you don't see it, and 0.8 seconds if you are in its range, if you actually see the flash. Hot hands is the ability you get from killing, and it gives you for free at the beginning of each round. It has 60 DPS, so 60 damage per second, and it takes 2.5 seconds to kill a fully armored player. So if you actually land it properly and combine it, for example, with a Sage slow, or put it like in a corner where people cannot escape, it can be pretty deadly, and it can kill in like not even full duration of the ability. Not only that, but it's also a really good like it's your healing mechanic. So you throw it whenever you retreat, you hide, you heal. Same with your wall. It's really good to heal. Really important to remember that you can do it. Your ult lasts for 10 seconds in total. Has 1 second rewind time. Whenever you die, 1 second later you appear. The thing to remember, you are vulnerable whenever you come back. So if you do it in a bad situation, you get knifed and everyone's sad. Just a reminder, you can check all of like each ability on each hero by pressing F1. So if you want to learn a bit more about any champion or any agent whenever you play, just go ahead and check that out. Next we're gonna go to Jett, which is another really good entry fragger. She is one of the more underpowered champions agents according to like professional players, because her kit is good, but it got a lot better now because her smokes that they've increased the duration from 4 seconds to 7 seconds, which is pretty nutty. A smoke that you can control pretty well, and you can curve them with if you hold your mouse, you can actually change the direction of your smoke. So the way you want to play with Jett is you take fights one by one by like eliminating angles and making a fight favorable for you. So you imagine you enter a site, you know that there is an enemy here, you smoke one enemy, you dash, you take the fight with this one, and you switch to the other one. Her dash is resets upon 2 kills, and you dash wherever you are holding your movement key, so you can dash it anyway. Here's your updraft, and your passive, of course, you can levitate. Nice thing about her utility, it has perfect accuracy whenever you jump, whenever you run, and it resets if you kill someone with your right click. So yeah. Next, we will talk about Raze, which people used to call the most overpowered hero until Rayna came in. You have your C4, which is a great mobility and damage ability. Deals 25 to 70 damage, depending on how close you detonate it to your enemy. And the important thing to remember, that it deals 10 times damage to Sage's wall. So use it to destroy Sage's walls if you ever play it. It's probably like the best investment of your money with that. Paint shells, each explosion can deal from 15 to 55 damage, each one of those explosions. It has 2 seconds of fuse time for the first explosion, and 1.5 for the second explosion. It's pretty nasty. You can set up some pretty nasty plays if you explode them over something and cover a pretty large area to get like a lot of damage for your enemy. And lastly, your ultimate. It's actually not a one-shot, one heal as a lot of people may think. It can deal as little as 30 damage if people are on the edge of her area. So it's still a pretty fucking large area, so you can definitely destroy people with that. Actually, like one of the most enjoyable heroes in terms of her utility. So I would definitely suggest pick it up if you're looking for another entry fragger. The last duelist is Rayna, which is, in my opinion, pretty busted. She has her flash. You can throw it through walls. It has around the 1 second of flight time, and it flashes everyone who looks at it. Important to remember, if you have something in front of your line of sight, including players or other, like even a tree, anything can block it off, and you won't be blind anymore. If you play against it, as soon as you see it, just flick to it. It gets destroyed with one shot from Vandal and Phantom. I think with Classic it gets destroyed with 2 shots, so it's pretty easy to counter. We will talk her Q. You activate whenever she gets a kill on an enemy. She pretty much siphons HP, healing up to 150 health. If she gets over 100, the armor will decay eventually, so it will drop down. If she has her ultimate enabled, like now, her Q actually activates automatically whenever she gets a kill. So it's pretty fucking nuts. You cannot really fight her whenever she is ulted. Her attack speed or fire rate is increased. She's nasty. If you want to play her, you need to learn how to properly control your recoil, because it kicks up a lot faster and it can be a lot deadlier if you actually control it properly. So actually, in general, recoil control is very important in this game. So just if you're not sure what I mean, if you shoot it at any point, your crosshair will go up. So just pull it down, and you can also notice how my weapon starts wiggling to the left and to the right. And with that wiggling, my bullets are also following. So you just kind of need to train yourself to follow it with your eyes and counter it with your mouse movement. Her E, what do we have? Is invulnerability. She just becomes untargetable. She cannot shoot or hit anything. And while she is in her ultimate, she also becomes invisible. Fucking busted. She's definitely gonna get a nerf. But yeah, just use it while you can. Next, we'll talk about engagers. These are the classifications that I'm going to be talking about are given by Riot. I'm not necessarily agreeing with them because they put Sova and Breach in same category. Regardless, Sova, we have his shocks. They can deal up to 90 damage, 10 to 90 depending on how close the enemy is to the center of the explosion. His signature ability that has a cooldown of 35 seconds, pulses, gives you pretty much wall hack. So the best thing to do with this, you just need to learn where you have where you can shoot through the walls and just abuse it. A lot of walls in this game can be shot through, and yeah, just learn them and start abusing them, because this is like the craziest thing that I've seen on like competitive matches, is the amount of people that literally just fucking get Odins, place an arrow and just go fucking ham. It is super nasty, and it fucking works. Same with Owl. Owl has 100 health, it moves, it shoots a dart, then you can just destroy through walls. It's pretty nasty. His ultimate, it's pretty much map-wide beam. If you ever played League, it's kind of like a Lux thing. It's mostly used for damage. Whenever you hit something, they light up, so you know if you hit something. You kill people if you land 2 of those shots, because 1 shot deals 80 damage. Another interesting way to use this in like a more competitive setting is to use it to zone people out. So if you know that people are in like a certain area, you use it to force them to literally just go away. So you know they're here, and you zone them to go into this area to either stall their push, to help your teammates. It's just like be creative. Think about what value can this ability bring to you. Then we talk about next Engager, Breach. This is the guy that I've been maining during closed beta. Super fun character. His flashes are probably the most broken ones in the game. They take slightly longer to pop, so it's about 0.8 seconds to pop, and they last a lot longer. They last a lot longer than Phoenix flashes, and people have been complaining about it, and Riot is not going to do anything about it. Just remember, in this game you can actually turn away from flashes, and it will help you in the long run, because yeah, the duration is a lot shorter. So if you're getting pushed and you see a flash, usually the normal human reaction time is about 200 milliseconds, I think, should be in your case. I mean, 0.5, you should have plenty of time to react and just move your camera away. That's gonna save you so many times. You just need to get into a habit. You start like get used to doing it. Next, we're talking about his signature ability. It takes 2 seconds to charge up, and it increases in size or in direction. Anything hit by it will be dazed. They will have shorter attack speed. They are not going to be able to spray. It's very strong. It slows. It's a really good ability to because you can use it multiple times per round. It's super good. His C, Aftershock, charges up, deals a lot of damage. It's really nice to flash out cubbies where people might be hiding. You probably, like, the best thing that comes to my mind is the cubby on Haven, where you have this little kind of pocket on Haven C long. If you just shoot it through that wall, it flashes everything and people are forced to leave, and they will die. They will die if they're standing too close to it. It will be absolutely a one-shot, not on the other side of the spectrum, like on the other side of the ability, but it's pretty deadly, especially when combined with your E, the fault line, because then they're stunned and there is no way they can leave. So if you know that there is some people standing in a specific area for sure, and you want to secure the kills, use your stun, use your aftershock, and get value from those abilities. They're super strong, especially in tandem. His ultimate is one of the strongest ultimates in the game. It takes 7 charges and it creates those huge shockwaves. You see, like the area that it takes. You can flash out the entire sites with it, and people that are hit and knocked up in the air. So if you push fast enough, they don't even have a chance to land, and they die immediately. They have the same effect as your fault line, so they don't see very well. Their crosshair goes like this, and they can't spam. One thing, it is still possible if you run into good players, whenever they get dazed, it is still possible to kind of counter it with your mouse and shoot heads. So if you're pushing into a Vandal and you ult with it, don't be surprised if you get one tapped, because it happened to me. People know how to do it. It's just a really powerful utility, but people know how to counteract it by now. Next, we will talk about Sentinels. Sentinels are agents that excel at holding sites and slowing down enemies. And we have to start with Cypher because he is probably the strongest Sentinel in the game right now. His Q used to slow enemies when they go through them by 75%. Unfortunately, they removed it. Well, not unfortunately, that shit was way too much. You can have 2 of them out at the same time. You can look at whichever one you want to trigger. I think if you just press F, no, never mind. Yeah, you have to look at each one to trigger a specific one. If you only have one out, you can press F anywhere. Never mind, I'm lying to you, I think. Yeah, I am lying to you. That's not a thing. Trapwire. This thing actually deals damage. It deals 5 damage if it gets to that point, but it's a really long wind-up time. It doesn't usually happen, but I think I died to it once, and it was really shameful. A thing you will see a lot of ciphers do is you will have people pushing into sites. They don't know that it's here, or they're just running in. You hit the tripwire, the cage goes up, and there is nothing you can do about it. You have no idea what's going on. The tripwire is set off, and you are getting spammed through the smoke because whenever you step on that tripwire, it's like the X-ray from Sova, and you're sad. Your teammates are sad. You're dead. Your round is over, and yeah. Next we have a camera. It's strong. You put it anywhere, especially on defense. You can just get creative. Important thing for camera is that you can actually ping with it. So if you have your teammate, for example, on this wall, imagine if this wall can be shot through, and I ping the enemy, right? I ping the enemy, my teammates goes, okay, fuck that enemy. I really want to try this out in real game because this can be like pretty much game breaking. You can also shoot a dart that stays on until they remove it. I think it stays on for a while, and it also blinks them. Then the ultimate, I think you have 20-second window to use it on a dead body. So you cannot use it on somebody that's been killed like in the beginning of the round. If you want to use it, you have to be fast, you have to be proactive. It takes 2 seconds to load up, and you can do it within 12 meters to your target. So like around here, I think. No, 12. 12. So that's 12 meters from here to there, which is pretty long. It will take 2 seconds for them to get uploaded, and then you'll see like it will show you where they are through like wall hacks like Sovas or the darts, etc. Next, Sentinel, which is one of the strongest characters in the game at the moment. Unfortunately, she's been nerfed this patch. Sage. So we have our wall, super cool wall. Yeah, whenever you place it, it takes 8 seconds until it starts melting. So right now, I think it has 800 health. After 8 seconds, you will see it start melting. There you go. And yeah, it will just start melting and get destroyed. Yeah, the wall is super powerful for any choke points, any sites. Whenever you enter, you want to just ruin your enemy's day. You place a wall, you laugh in their face, and they're sad. Knives deal extra damage to walls. That's why you might notice like a lot of people knife it, especially on pistol rounds, because pistol deal fuck all to it. It just takes so long. Yeah, it's a super strong stalling mechanism. So imagine you're getting pushed on a site, you place a wall, you place a slow. Well, you actually place a slow behind it, not like I did. And you let your enemy know, you let your teammates know that you're getting pushed. They're slowed. Your teammates rotate. You're prepared for their push, and you're happy. Next, the slow's actually also been nerfed recently. A couple of weeks ago, slow used to be 75%. Now it's running through it is a lot quicker. You are still making sound, but if you're slow walking through it, you're not making any sound, so you're not giving any info to your enemies. You used to be able to bunny hop through it, so you could just bounce, bounce, bounce. That doesn't work anymore either. So I guess if you are pushing a site hard, then you can pretty much ignore it. What I wouldn't recommend is peeking any angles with it, because your enemy is just gonna be so ready for you, and that's just like a sure way to die. Her heal, well, let's see. Your health, you heal 20 health per second, which is, and it's on a 45-second cooldown. It's used to be 30, but that's also pretty, like, we'll see how this changes play out in the long run. I think until we get another Sentinel, Sage will still be a go to hold agent because she can heal, because she has a wall and the slow. She's just like it's like a really strong kit for an agent, and she has a resurrection. So whenever you resurrect your um, teammate, it has a 3.3 seconds of total animation time, and your two of those seconds, your teammate is going to be invulnerable whenever they're in their kind of like crystal form, so there is no point shooting in it. Once they pop out of that crystal form, they still are unable to move, but you can shoot them, and that window lasts for 1.3 seconds. And you just have to take advantage of it. What smarter players, Sage players, will do is whenever they go for a res, they will expect people to aggro and try to get the kill on the res the teammate, and they will be just waiting for you to pick, waiting for you to get aggro, and that's just like body baiting. And they already came up with a term for that apparently. So next we will talk about our controllers. Controllers are the agents that are focused around creating and abstracting enemy views. So Viper has her unique mechanic as being fueled, is the bar that you can see at the bottom of the screen. Her first ability, her C, is just an AoE dot. They recently increased the damage of it and the area, not the damage, just the area. You can jump through it. It doesn't slow you. It's just a nasty dot. It just deals pretty heavy damage. Then her smoke, like Cypher abilities, she can pick it up. That unfortunately she cannot pick up her wall. It requires 20 minimum 20 fuel to cast an ability. Either one. It doesn't consume it, but you cannot cast them without your fuel. So once you activate it, your fuel starts getting drained, and you get this nice wall that whenever your enemy stands in, they get decay. What decay is basically your health starts decreasing, but whenever you step out of it, your health goes back up. You can always turn off your smokes and turn off your walls and wait till your fuel pops back up. But usually, if you're holding a site and you see that the wall is going down, it's a pretty sure like indicator that they want to go and enter your site because. But it's like at the same time they can use it as bait. They can fake taking a side, and yeah, that's one way. Her ultimate is just a huge fuck off cloud. You ult on a site after you plant, and it's pretty much a GG. If anyone enters in it, they start going to 1 health, so you literally just have to sneeze on your enemy for them to die, or like you just just do this, do that. They literally touch like a little bit of that thing and they die. You good Viper players, they play around it. They go in and out to keep their ultimate up. If you see, as soon as I step out, I get this timer, and if I stay too long out of it, the smoke will go down. It's extremely strong post plant, because if you get the plant down and if you ult, like it's very hard to win that back because you just lock down the whole area. Good Vipers they know their lineups, so unfortunately I cannot show you this here. Maybe, yeah. So you need to know your lineups. For each map, you need to know the angles of how you line up your walls, how you split the sites, and like you just need to run around custom maps and figure that stuff out. She's also known for one-way smokes. Let's see if that works. No, that doesn't work. So by one-way smokes, I mean smokes that you can see through. For example, on Split in Heaven, you can throw it above the entrance, and you can see enemies' legs. They cannot see you. People run in, they die. You're happy, they're sad. But again, Viper is very hard to pull off because you just need to know a lot of setups. You need to be flexible with your smokes. You need to be proactive, and you need to make it work. I haven't seen too many good Vipers, but if you do want to check out a good Viper, I'd suggest you go see Cloud910's because that guy's just nuts. Next, we will talk about Brimstone. Brimstone is the most popular controller because of how easy his utility is to use. You can put 3 smokes down pretty much simultaneously, when for Omen it's only 2, and Jett you have to do them one by one. They have a bit of a wind-up time whenever you cast them, and good Brimstones actually use it to their advantage. So let's say you're holding an angle, your smoke is coming down, you peek, you see like a glimpse of your enemy in the last moment, right? And you just spam through the smoke. You wait, you peek, and then you're covered, you see them, they don't know what's going on, and you destroy them. Steam Beacon. It's extremely underused, especially in pistol rounds, because this attack speed when you like pretty much shoot like a Spectre with your pistol it's nasty. Same for your any other gun, right? It doesn't work with shotguns, unfortunately. That would be really fun, but it still just does the same thing. Right. We have our incendiary. This is the strongest. No, actually, it does the same damage as Phoenix Q. So, and an interesting thing, it has the same trajectory as a Sage Q. So if Phoenix's Q, you cannot really shoot too far because it just plops down to the ground. I'm gonna demonstrate that. If you throw it, it's just gonna go like boop. Yep. With Brimstone, you can set up some pretty nasty setups in maps where the plants are with like open sky. So for example, you just learn the lineup, you set up, and it goes. It drops on the bomb, for example. If you're holding it, it drops on the bomb. Your enemy cannot defuse it, and then you have your ultimate, and you just ruin somebody's day, right? Especially post plant. This is really strong. His ultimate is like something else. Whenever you enter any site, whenever you push, there are so many great ways of utilizing it. For example, we're entering, like imagine if this firing zone, firing range is like a site, right? So we can plop a smoke to cover the exit or something, and we literally just use this as zoning. So we don't have to know if there is somebody there, if we're expecting somebody to be there. What we are doing is covering this area, so we know for sure that there is not going to be anyone there, and we don't have to bother like clearing it. I've seen this is like one of the strongest controller, if not the strongest controller at the moment, because of his damage output and his utility. It's super strong. If you want to learn the controller, your team will say thank you, because Brimstone is welcome into any party. Lastly, Omen. Here we have this edgelord. Super fun character, but unfortunately not quite as strong. So we have a blink. You can do it on different verticalities, so you can be cheeky, set up some interesting plays, but it doesn't always work. You have your blind, 35-meter range, 2 seconds near side debuff. So the way how it works, if your enemy gets hit by it, they pretty much see in this area, right? As if like they were in the middle of your smoke. A super nice utility to use to set up peaks for your teammates, for example. Like let's say my teammate is pushing through here, and I know that there is an enemy holding here. I smoke for him. He peeks, starts shooting. This guy just doesn't see him because he's in a bubble, right? His smokes have recently been updated. They are flying much faster now. They are much easier to actually place anywhere. and I think we'll see a lot more omens in a few like in future. The nice thing about him is that you get a new smoke every 35 seconds. Brimstone doesn't get more smokes. He just has to buy them every round. So theoretically, if you use one smoke at the start of the round, you also have 3 up to 4 or even 5 smokes during a round if you manage them properly, if you min-max, and if you use it a lot. His ultimate, you teleport anywhere on the map. It's super spooky, it covers your enemy radar. Nice thing to do when your teammates push because it covers radar, as I said, and it doesn't give enemy info. So it's really good to flank, it's good to fake, it's as good as you can make it with your creative plays. The problem with Omen, however, is if you really want to make it work, you need to have a decent aim because he has all the utility with blinks and smokes that you just set yourself up for more 1v1s. And if you cannot take those 1v1s because of your aim, then there isn't much point to them, right? So yeah, that should be about it with our agents. Next, I want to talk about team compositions. So here we have for some of the most popular team compositions, and I'm not saying this is what you should be playing with. It's just something to keep in mind. Um, each team, in order to be kind of successful in the match, you need to have capabilities of both attack and defense. So, and you just go about, you need to like think about what kind of agents would work well together, why you're picking that agent. You need to have a thought behind it. So, for example, let's take this team composition. We have Cypher and Sova, which is always a pretty deadly combo. They get a lot of information, so you can be very reactive to where your enemy attacks and how they play. You stall your enemy like crazy because of Cypher, because of Sage's wall and her slow. It's a super annoying comp to play against because they always know where you are. They always slow you down whenever they know where you are, and they have Breach and Brimstone for the attack to smoke any offensive position that can be held for them. They flash. This is probably the strongest composition at the moment. However, what this comp is lacking is any lurk and any 1v1 capabilities. So we don't really have an entry fragger. Because Breach is not necessarily an entry fragger. What Breach excels at is in a good team where he can set up his utility and help his teammates to frag out. He's not going to be fragging out himself, although he can, but it's just not his main role. For example, here on the other hand, we have a much more offensive setup. We have Jett that would excel in lurking. So by lurking, I mean you stray away from your team, you play alone, you set up fights, you try to win 1v1s, and once you get information or you get a pick, you tell that to your team and you work together. Same with Phoenix. Phoenix can be played as a lurker because of his heal abilities. He can work by himself, and because of his flash. Super strong team composition, but it's a different play style. You have your heal, you have your entry fragging, but you don't have any information. So it's kind of like run in blind, hit hard, hit fast. If you miss, well, next round, what can you do? A nice in between. We have setup for entry fragger, potential entry fragger with a lot of damage and mobility. We have information smokes. This is a pretty good all-around setup. The only thing is the only real hold or like Sentinel. We have Sage, so no Cypher is kind of like a bummer nowadays because Cypher is just really strong. It gives you information, it slows down enemy pushes, you zone, you create opportunities. But one thing that you might have noticed is that Sage is literally in every single composition is because she's just that strong. She's really good. I think until we get another Sentinel that will do her job better and maybe not provide a heal, we're not gonna see Sage going anywhere. What I want you to focus, these are not set in stone compositions, right? These are just the examples. I want you to think all of the agents can fulfill their roles based on their toolkit. And it really depends on your playstyle. So even Phoenix, as an entry fragger, has a 6-second wall that can be used as a smoke pretty much, which can also be curved. So it's, for example, if we talk about bind, when you exit the bathrooms, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it myself, but if you know what I'm talking about, you have your corner of the site, and you literally just, well, that's not quite as good. You can do some pretty crazy setups. So like this will last for 6 seconds. So once you plant it, once you use it, you have 4 seconds to plant the bomb. You can use it just as much as just as well as a smoke, for example, from Brim or a Viper's wall, but it's more flexible. It takes a bit of finesse to master it, but it's really cool. Like you can do some funky shit with it. It's pretty funny. Um, why am I talking about this like this? All of the agents have their toolkit, but their role is not defined by it. So it's your playstyle that will determine where a said agent is good. I don't want you to look at these setups, at these compositions, and use them as like be all end all. You experiment, you try new things. I think the main role for Rayna would be to entry frag, or to, for example, like Rayna and Breach. Something that I really want to fucking try. Imagine you enter a site, Breach flashes, so they're already blind, they don't see anything. Rayna flashes, they don't see the orb, but they are blind, and it's just it's a huge fuckfest. The enemy has no idea what's going on. If you are trying to make Rayna work, I think you have to be aggressive. You have to go fast. You have to be comfortable with your buttons and using your invulnerability to go out, get a kill, get invul, dip back, dip into another corner. So you have to be very active. Your aim has to be fucking crisp as fuck. Um, but once it is, it's you are unstoppable. You can get healed. Imagine you take a fight, you get, even if you get chip damage for like 100, right? You get healed right back to 150. You are ready to take another fight. You take another fight. If you don't get damage, you get a 3-second invul window where you can change position, take a better corner, etc. She's extremely powerful, but you have to be very active, very active and proactive with your engages. If you don't get picks, if you don't get kills, you don't get your orbs, and you pretty much have half of your kit missing. Yep. Any more questions?